just popping on here. It's going to be funny. And it's just popping on. Okay, guys, I didn't notify anybody. I'm just going to talk about this because there are some things from last night that I forgot to bring up. I didn't notify anybody. I'm just going to talk. Hold on 1 second here. Unprepared a little bit last night, but that's me. Sorry. Hold on a second. So anyway, I'm just coming on here. I have some extra information that I want to talk about. So, I'm getting requests for certain specific remote viewing projects they want me to do. So, and this is to the public. I'm opening this to the public. And so, I did talk about that I was going to do the maps just like I did for California, for Los Angeles, so it can describe it in a very detailed way and then Louisiana, how I see the flooding happening there. Florida, how I see the flooding happening there, and Texas, and what area in Texas. So those are 3 to 4 different maps that I will start to work on. So like California's earthquakes and all that, that's been 3 years. So these predictions I get way ahead of time. And then there's some sporadic ones they just throw at me and tell me just to do it. So I'm just coming on here this morning because there's some details that I missed on some information. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, just so people can understand how I work and my personality. A lot of people don't understand why I'm so serious when I communicate, when I talk. I have one expression, and it's just because what I do is serious. I take it very serious. It's not something to joke about. It's not something to giggle about. And I'm talking about remote viewing, going after targets, going after information, because there's not much room for me to be wrong. And that's why I have the clients that I do, because they expect me to be professional. I am not trying to entertain people. I'm just trying to give information. And so I get a lot of questions asked about, that I'm too serious. I am too serious about what I do. I take it very, very professional in the way I look at things, and I want to make sure everything's completed. So I don't want to joke about some serious situations. There are things that I find that are funny. I mean, most of the time, the more humorous side that I deal with is mediumship. And that's a little different because I can relax a little better. But on these other subjects, it's serious across the board, because you have to check everything and make sure you do things right and make sure everything follows through, and then verify the information. And on the professional end, remote viewing, if you're laughing and cracking up about things, they're not going to take you serious. They want to spend time and money into reaching a target, developing it into a target, getting everything verified. It's a serious matter. So, and that's where I think you have that different exposure, where YouTube has become to an entertainment process, and I'm not an entertainer. Here's the information, here's the documentation, and then also I give you an option to do the research for yourself. I don't bring on a bunch of people to my channel because I'm not trying to grow my channel to a big extent of numbers, because the way I see it is each person that clicks that and likes that, I'm responsible for giving the information, not just putting them as a number. So, I feel that there's personal obligation to that. So I only want to take on what I can handle on what I do. And in my personal groups, they know that. I look at them as responsibility to lead them in the right direction. And I don't open doors I can't shut. That's not what I do. So I am a serious reader. I am a serious remote viewer. I do take cases very serious. I do take, when I do wills, very serious. When I do looking at artifacts and trying to find something, I take it very serious. It's not a joke to me, and it's not a joke to the client. So I'm just kind of putting that out there so people understand. And so I guess, because I'm not the norm, and I'm not the type of person you want to bring on a show and expect to fall in line. I don't do that. If spirit has to say something, I'm going to say it, whether it's professional to them or not. I'm going to say it, because people don't want to hear a line. They want to hear the truth. And so no one can suppress the truth with me. They can't force me to take something and just tone it down a little bit. I don't do that, because I wouldn't be true to Creator if I did that. And so there's no room for anyone else between me and creation and the messages that go across, because that's what's important. And so people find me confusing, and I'm okay with that. They find me confusing on how I channel the information. And sometimes when I'm talking, I'm channeling the information and I'm having 2 or 3 conversations, dialogue going in and out. And it's okay. I think people eventually figure it out. So, and so there's a lot of communities out there that I'm shocked by. The UFO community. Some of the platforms that are really into the entertainment and making it look like they're in some capsule space station when they're not. That they won't call out pedophiles. They won't call out pedophiles. So that raises an eyebrow. And to me, there's no worse than that. And I have no respect for the people that don't do that. So when I see fit to say something, I will say it. And I will back it up with information and documentation. So yes, I'm serious about a lot of things. But there's a humorous side to me too. And that's usually just the humorous stuff that spirit does when we're not working on a serious case, or they're trying to communicate something that I'm not getting the message, or mediumship is a big one that's kind of a humorous situation. And I am thought of, displaying that more. And it's just because mediumship, again, is another private thing for some people, that they don't want to display that in that way. So I'm going to try to do Wednesday nights on Facebook, picking people for that information to relay it over very raw, but it'll be on my Facebook, because people are wanting to see that publicly and how it works, because I do work different as a medium than others do. And so now let's kind of go back to the remote viewing. So I have a request for, I can't believe this, Guantanamo, and to remote view that and to give descriptions of it. So I will to a limit, and if I think something's really secure, I will not. But I will give you a general idea. They want me to do that one, and then they want me to do the Euphrates River. And so we'll start with Euphrates River, the request for Guantanamo Bay, and then the one for Louisiana, Florida, and Texas on those Pacific storms that are coming in on that development. So another thing that I could tell you right now, and this is to be serious about, there's a lot of intuitive teachers out there right now. And if there ever was a time to debate whether you should take a class or have a session with that person, this is the time, because you really want to open yourself up to understanding those types of energies now. You're going to need that to survive in the future. And so I'm just saying that there's a lot of people on YouTube and Facebook, that you can trust for those readings. So this is the time to step up and ask questions and not be in the background and thinking you don't need to be involved in that way. But you need to be involved in trying to teach and learn your own instinct and instead of blowing things off. So I would tell you to start really understanding those senses that are awake and alert now, to use them in a format and be open to learning how to process information different than what you've been told. I can tell you that seeing through these two eyes sometimes really can confuse things. And sometimes you just really have to go within inside you and visualize here and cut these off and go into the trust sense and go into sensations and vibrations, and that true rawness comes through. And that's that information that's fast and accurate. And that's that instinct when everybody listens to. It's just a process right now that this is not the time to hold back. This is the time to really ask those questions. And so that's something that you can set up with me as a session in a reading or whatever and go over. Because there's a lot of people, they want to reach out, they don't know what to say. And it's just, I kind of, in those processing, I just let spirit take over. They already know what you want. So if you're hesitant to, or in fear of asking those questions and you want a private session, just reach out to me and we'll see what spirit has to say about that. So for the rest of the week, I'll work on some of these targets and information. I'm going to tell you right now, you need to keep your eye on Antarctica. Big time. There's a lot of changes coming out of there. And I really want to get this lake verified. And I've seen some good results of this lake that I talked about, this Ruby Lake that's there. And that's another piece of target that I'm going to go back into. But also the golden city that will arise from our planet above. And I think I'll work on finishing those details of that information too. So it's part of just the process of finishing up. But you guys are going to have to buckle up. We're going to go on for a ride, and they're going to trigger emotion going up and down. And you got to hold steady on that and not freak out, because at the end, like any situation that is completely dismantling, they're going to tear down as much as they can and take down as much as they can with them. And like I said, people keep asking about these, I call it energy frequency medical devices that are controlled by only the government. Only the government. So don't be a sucker for any of that. And as soon as the RV I think those will be out faster than you think. And I don't think they're very hard to set up at all. I think it'd take half a day to get them all set up and running. So, like I said, those will be like kiosks, cell phone little kiosks you can go in and out of. So just remember, things are not going to take a long process to establish, put together. We're more into the higher technology of things being easier. So be prepared for that situation. So I am going to let you guys know that I do have a new, it's been 3.5 years. I put this Hertz vibration meditation up, and it's on my website. You might want to look at it because it affects exactly how you hear, what level you hear at, how your mindset concepts information, how your mind's eye sees everything, views it. And it's almost like breaking a sound barrier, because I'm having sound barriers to start with these hertz. And then on the back end of thing, there's another barrier of sound breaking. So, and it's literally, like your whole body is turning inside out. And it's really, sorry. Unknown caller. Sorry. Just ridiculous. So anyway, just things are changing like that a lot. So look on my website about that Hertz meditation. And that's 3 sessions to get you involved in it. I give you a chart of where you're at on things, and unknown call. Decline again. How the frequency is, how the balance is, everything. And then it goes into how you're hearing things. And then at a certain point where your mindset and your pineal gland is opening up. All that is a balanced level of each person at a different frequency of understanding. See, people teach everybody in a one-room classroom at their level, at that teacher's level, or what they've gone through. I teach it at a point at your level of understanding, at your frequency of understanding, and developing the way it needs to be so you can understand the directions. And I do get good results on that. So it's something that it's really good to do, but it's on my website. And like I said, like Humble Healing, on Humble Healing 2, and that took 2 years. Humble Healing 1 took 3 years. I don't put these things out lightly. So this thing I've been working on this for 3.5 years. And now I'm finally up to working on this. And it's literally, the way I can say it is like breaking a sound barrier in your head and your body and your mind. And then as soon as that gets to a certain point, there's those hertz vibrations. And then in the background, there's another vibration that comes in. And it's just amazing. I mean, it's crazy. So read up on that information if you're interested in doing that. And that's the thing. I like to throw you through the door and let you see it yourself. Not the way I describe it, the way you see it. And learn from it from that point. So, so these are just things I should have probably went over last night. I was frustrated. I was at the farm. Never works out there. So, I'll be posting those maps with Louisiana, Florida, and Texas, and then the remote viewing on Euphrates River and Guantanamo Bay. And anything else, and then we'll have some more posts about the Golden City. So I just want to come on here, throw this at you, add to it. But you guys all know how to contact me. So have a good day. It's going to be a bumpy ride. So get your seatbelt on. Good night, guys.